Hi, it's Frank Baker, back again for Managing Nature Together, episode 4. And today I'm here with Andy Long. Hi Andy, and I believe that you work for the City of Trees in Manchester?
That's right, Frank, yes. So City of Trees is an environmental charity. We're based and work across Greater Manchester. We plant trees, we help people manage woods and get communities, businesses involved in that process.
Despite coppicing not being as common traditionally in Greater Manchester compared to other places, it has effectively been used as a nature management solution for Highfield in the past. However, the pertinent question is, what is coppicing?
A coppice is an area of woodland that's been deliberately cut. The trees and the shrubs have been deliberately cut down near to the ground level with the sole intention of regrowing them, getting lots of lovely shoots like this. So the plants are very clever. When they've had the tops cut off them, or I should say when some species have had the tops cut off them, due to sort of hormonal levels, they realise this is gone and they send up lots of shoots. There are new buds that start forming around the base of where near the cut, and it sends up new shoots to regrow. So this is hazel. It's had about 1 year's growth, as you can see. It's about 1 metre, which is pretty good going. And typically hazel is grown on a 7-year rotation, so that means 7 years between each cut. So around us there's lots of other hazel stools that have been cut and it looks pretty good. There isn't any deer browsing or other kind of things interfering with the growth, so this kind of technique is working very well here.
Looking at the bigger picture, I wondered whether coppicing was favourable in terms of global sustainability. So Andy, I hear that coppicing is a sustainable practice, so what is the reason for that?
So when you're coppicing and you're cutting down the trees and shrubs at the ground level, it's allowed to stems. So it's a natural process. So when those stems regrow, they're sequestering carbon, capturing sunlight and putting down new wood to replace that was cut down previously.
You're currently watching an educational film on sustainable nature management, and 2 minutes 40 seconds in, you've gathered that coppicing involves trimming down trees. An ecological paradox, right? Well, I put that question to Andy. So I think, Andy, what some people may worry about with coppicing being the practice of cutting trees, is it dangerous for the trees at all?
It isn't, no. In some ways it can be beneficial for the trees. So you have to be careful about selecting which plants, which trees and shrubs you can coppice. And once you get that right, the trees, if they get enough light back to the stem, they should be able to regrow again. Admittedly, it does look quite brutal to begin with when lots of the tops of the trees and shrubs have been removed. But if it's done correctly, it will encourage more vigorous young growth, which is good for the wood for lots of different reasons.
So I suppose the proof's in the pudding in a way, because it's been done for a long time as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So people have been coppicing for hundreds, if not thousands of years. It's a very old traditional practice, and it was done primarily to reap the benefits of getting the timber and the woodland products from it, but it also has the benefit of encouraging young new growth as well.
How convenient! Who would have thought hundreds of thousands of years ago that the ancient woodland art of coppicing would prove to be so resilient amongst the culture of the abandonment of ancient practices? The benefits of coppicing, however, seem to have outshone many other techniques. So Andy, what season is coppicing done in?
So it's traditionally done in the winter time, so it's when the leaves are off the trees, the sap is down, and coppicing at that time, cutting the trees and shrubs at that time, normally results in a much better regrowth of the plants than if you were to do it in summertime. Also, it's outside of the bird breeding season, which is good.
And I've heard a lot of people say that it promotes biodiversity. So firstly, what is biodiversity? And secondly, how does it benefit that?
So biodiversity, it's been around a long time. People have known the word wildlife, same kind of thing. So coppicing benefits, well, first of all, increases the sunlight onto the forest floor.
Amid the tumultuous winds of the reddish Heaton's Levenshulme frontier, Andy goes on to talk about the benefits of biodiversity and how it can be encouraged through the medium of coppicing. So Andy, is coppicing good for wildlife then?
It is. What happens when you coppice an area is you increase the amount of light and warmth you get in that patch that you've coppiced, and it encourages a different variety of herbaceous plants, which in turn encourage different types of insect. So if we're standing in a 1-year-old coppice here, if we look down at the ground layer, at the ground flora, we can see that there is a vetch growing here, which I don't think we found in other patches of Highfield Country Park. And this plant and others will be encouraged by that change in those environmental conditions where you've got more light. And typically in our undermanaged woods, our high-story woods, we tend not to have quite so many of these types of plants that you can find in coppice woodlands.
While observing the coppice, it was hard not to notice the quite prominent wall of branches to our right. Andy commented on the surprising ecological importance of this otherwise negligible pile of branches. Andy, to the left of me here, we've got something that the people coppicing have created. Now, to me, it looks like a pile of branches, but it's evidently more important than that. So, what is it?
So, what's been done when the area has been coppiced, all the finer branch material, the kind of lop and top.
Andy explained how the dead hedge we were observing had a far more pertinent role than its initial ancient purpose to keep deer from nibbling new shoots ever had. These dead hedges are wildlife havens for fungi and lichen, which in turn provide a habitat for birds and other creatures. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, how can volunteers fulfil the roles required to allow successful coppicing to take place? So, we're now in an area that hasn't been coppiced before, but how could volunteers begin coppicing this area?
So they can get involved by doing the actual coppicing themselves. So this area you can see lots of multi-stems, so using a bow saw and other equipment to reduce those stems down to near the ground level. But also we can see that the ground flora here isn't too great. There isn't a great variety of things, so possibly after that coppicing they could get involved in planting woodland wildflowers, plants that typically enjoy those kind of conditions that will grow here, sowing wildflower seed and that kind of work.
So thank you very much, Andy, for coming on to Managing Nature Together episode 4, and we can see that there's lots of opportunity for coppicing all around Highfield Country Park. Thank you for watching again, and please remember to take a look and hopefully enjoy all the other episodes 1 to 3 of Managing Nature Together.